Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to present in English. Only going to introduce myself easily. I'm responsible for regulatory affairs in BT Mexico. And, I'm
To
going to...
English.
Ahora voy a...
First of all, I want just to make a quick precision about BT. Probably everybody knows that BT in the UK is an incumbent that serves the needs of consumer enterprises and public sector, UK public sector. But outside the UK, BT is focused on large multinational corporations. Those corporations have multi-business location in one or more countries. And they are highly dependent from an adequate communication services to be able to operate productively. And they require to have the same level of quality at all locations that they can have across the world. A significant number of telecom providers have developed expertise in serving the large corporate segment. Ostensibly, this market should be characterized by intense competition. However, in reality, the market is more fragmented than may be at first apparent, with different companies having different strengths geographically and in terms of customer they address. This may explain why there is a perception among end users that when tendering for services, there are often not more than one or two providers that can meet customer requirements. In fact, a global provider is often impeded in its ability to meet customer needs and compete on a level playing field across the region by the absence of effective and consistent wholesale inputs for corporate markets. And this is true for American region, but as well as for Europe. Regulated access is essential for business service providers because they lack the economies of scale to build their own infrastructure to all sides. So they need to purchase their access to a third-party supplier that is usually the incumbent because the incumbent has the best coverage over the territory. And ex-ante regulation allow to secure that when the global provider purchases its access to the incumbent, that you have the security that this access will be purchased under fair and non-discriminatory terms. If I just look at the LATAM region, the wholesale broadband access is seldomly regulated in LATAM, to say not regulated at all in many countries. When we have some regulation in place, usually this regulation contains a number of deficiencies that do not make this framework useful for global customers. Then I wanted just to make a comment on another topic raised by the panel, how to quantify. Well, on the business market, it's quite difficult to quantify because we don't have data, for instance, in terms of market share per country to know exactly the market power for operator on this particular market. Although business communication to global customers make up a large part of the telecommunication market, many regulators over LATAM region, but it's also in Europe, and policymakers have assumed that such businesses have sufficient negotiating power to protect their own interests when purchasing communication services. And then this means that this market will not serve the application of ex ante regulation and measure adapted to this market. It would be very important to analyze the role that communication play in driving efficiency with larger businesses in the effect this may have on country productivity. Now, I just want to make other comments concerning the third topics of this panel, market concentration. Well, as you know, the telecom sector have experienced a number of concentrations over the past years. And we think that it's very important, I think that it's very important to look at the impact of these concentrations on the market, on consumer market, but also on business market. I think that 3 elements need to be taken into account. The first one is number of competitors. The second one is market share of competitors. And the third one is the level of competition. I will make just a comment concerning number of competitors because it's key for the business market in particular. We think that a careful approach needs to be taken when the transaction, the operation leads to a reduction to a telecom player in the market. And in Europe in particular, we had a number of concentration that lead to a reduction of telco players. And when this affects, the business market, there is a risk that the competition can be damaged by this reduction. So to address this concern, I think it's very important that the competition authority or regulatory authority have the power to obtain and to impose a series of substantial, credible, and verifiable commitments from party to the transaction, to the operations. Those commitments, for instance, can be structural measures like a divestiture, the fact that one of the party will divest element of its network or some assets to allow another operator to enter in the market, or the measure can take, for instance, behavioral measure too. That's it. That I wanted to explain. Thank you.